Crook and Murder. We are back after what? It's been like 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Is it?
No, wait, it's just been a week.
No, it's been a week.
Time
did this
flows
last week.
differently in a vacation town.
Yeah, like what's a posture check?
What's a
It's
what?
when you rearrange yourself.
Well, it says Boozo9 redeemed posture check.
Just don't mess with your junk.
Oh my god, and now he's redeemed a
fuck this
wolf
up.
cola. What is going
literally
on?
Can't fuck this up. All you gotta do is drink something and change your posture. It's not that hard.
I don't know if I may quit out of the chat. This may be too distracting for
This
me.
is the most interactive the chat's ever been.
Cheers, boobs. So here we are, back after a week, and continuing our Halloween series. We're gonna bring you a story about witches of the Emerald Isles. Today we're gonna be talking about Bridget Cleary, and this episode was brought to you by Twitch. No, I'm kidding. It was actually brought to you by Alex, who has been working diligently to get it up. And so I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, I guess we'll do introductions.
I have no bits to cheer.
I'm Kenny Crook, Irish Kirby. I am joined today by Maxwell Murder.
Hello.
Alex, special guest Alex.
Special guest out.
We are
Hello.
Crook and Murder.
I miss saying you might know me as that guy who burned a witch or something.
Well, we can bring it back maybe.
We can bring it back. I mean, it is our catchphrase. Like,
I liked it. Maybe we'll bring it back some other time.
You guys may know me as the guy who read on Reddit today that Overwatch caused someone to cry because he decided to play Overwatch when he was having a bad day. And I want to kind of point this out. Overwatch is not a fucking game to play when you're having a bad day.
Dude, you got to get off Reddit.
You really do. Oh my god.
Overwatch is the type of game that you play when you want to have a bad day.
Yeah, I think Reddit is the kind of thing you read when you want to make your blood pressure spike.
It's funny that you say that because I recently played Dota 2 with Simon, and that is the most infuriating game in the entire world.
Yeah. You see this face I'm making right here? This is how I feel about that.
Clearly, you haven't played the game of Blizzard fanboys on Reddit.
Oh man, yeah, I avoid Reddit.
Such a good game. Blizzard
I use Reddit to watch people fall off things. That's about it. Or hit their balls on a staircase.
Yesterday Kirby tried to convince me to start a fucking TikTok account for our podcast, and I cannot fathom.
We can get views another way.
Yeah.
Listen, you can.
You know that's just Chinese propaganda, right?
Of course I know that. Yeah.
Look, hashtag views, okay? Hashtag Twitter. I don't know what the kids are saying nowadays.
Before I fucking get a TikTok account, I will open my own OnlyFans account. That's how much I fucking hate TikTok.
Is that how we're gonna promote the podcast?
Dude, to be honest with you, you should probably do it. I mean, building Legos naked, you gotta at least try, right?
Crook and Murder with extra sausage.
I have no shame too. Like I'll be naked. I'd wear tidy whities. Like I don't fucking care. I get undressed with the windows. Like people can see me. Who cares?
You know, I wouldn't mind just George R.R. Martining my way on fucking OnlyFans. You know, penis.
What?
George R.R. Martin is like obsessed with showing penises in like every one of his books.
Well, you can't show a penis in a book, actually. But
you can describe a penis in a book.
No, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even understand that. But yeah, actually, I did read all of the Game of Thrones books, and there's a lot of like
descriptions of penises.
South Park. Now we're looking. This is our episode today. George R.R. Martin's obsession with penises.
I can describe an axe entering a human skull in great explicit detail, and no one will blink twice at it. provide a similar description, just as detailed, of a penis entering a vagina, and I get letters about it and people swearing off. To my mind, this is kind of frustrating. It's madness. Ultimately, in the history of the world, oh, fuck you, Ed. In the world, penises entering vaginas have given a lot of people a lot of pleasure. Axes entering skulls, well, not so much. That is a
Wow.
quote by George R.R. Martin.
Wow.
Listen,
I kind
the
of,
guy wants to talk about penises. Let him do it, guys.
he makes a good point, but also it kind of now it seems to me like maybe he doubled down on the description of cocks just to troll people. He like created a whole fucking novel series just to fuck with people's heads.
I would label an entire fucking chapter penis, and then I would just talk about everybody's cock in that
Oh, well,
chapter.
for everybody that wants to know Tyrion's penis, even his manhood was ugly, thick and veined, with a bulbous purple head.
My God. Jesus. Okay. We should
Man, you
probably
guys
get
weren't
back to
lying. He really does describe penises.
The
No,
facts
it's
you learn
thick
on
and
Crook and
veiny.
Murder.
Yeah. We were
All
talking
right.
about witches, but I think we could do a whole episode on fucking Game of Thrones dicks.
Game of Thrones dicks.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Coming
100%.
2024.
But speaking of Game of Thrones dicks, what are we talking about today? Talking about the murder of Bridget Cleary.
Wow, hell of a translation.
That is,
I have to
you
say
need
that I
the
really
180,
like
I got your back.
I like that you called it the murder of Bridget Cleary and not like the witch trial of Bridget Cleary because it was a
No,
murder.
it was definitely 100% just. Her husband was like, "I don't like who you are, and I'm just gonna kill you."
Yeah, he just murked his wife. Like it wasn't like
Oh, yeah, and you know what's great about it too is he didn't make it a secret. There were like fucking 8 people in the room when he did it, and then he turned to one of them and was like, "Hey, help me bury the body." And the guy was like, "Well, I don't really want." He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna help me bury the body." He's like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, it's easier than getting divorced.
uh
Oh man, back
maybe.
then probably not.
Well,
Back
they're
then you could probably
Catholic,
still
so
get
they couldn't do
divorced.
it.
They're
Well,
Catholic, right?
I don't know, man. You pay enough money, but
Or
right.
if you're king of England, you can just create your own religion.
Well, that's true. But so we're talking about the murder of Bridget Cleary. So, have you ever had a feeling a family member or a friend is not who they say they are? They look, walk, and talk like the person you love or know, but in the back of the lizard brain of yours, something's off. And alas, the only natural logical solution is to light that motherfucking imposter on fire. Well, then you might be Michael Cleary, getting ready to fucking kill someone you love.
That is the best intro ever. Yeah, I've been there.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but real quick, especially if you're on the audio, I believe Ken is a changeling, which is why he's not showing himself on video tonight.
Yep. Yep.
Honestly, I think the entire community of Overwatch thinks I'm changeling because they keep calling me fairy, and I'm a little.
Is this
afraid for
on
my life.
Reddit?
It's, no, it's while playing Overwatch.
Wow, that's intense, brother.
It's pretty
Oof.
toxic, but you know what? If they don't try to set me on fire, I'm cool.
Okay. So,
All right.
tell me, Alex, who is this Bridget Cleary?
Who is Bridget Cleary? So she was born February 19th, 1869 in Ballyvadlia, Ireland, as Bridget Boland. Boland, something along those lines.
Ballyvadia. That's a.
Ballyvadia, is that how you say that?
I don't know.
Vadil?
I feel like it's one of those Celtic words that's spelled nothing like it actually
Dude,
sounds.
well, just wait until we get to the fort, because holy shit, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that.
This
Um,
is literally English, guys. It's obviously
but yeah, it's Celtic.
Polyvadelia.
Sure.
Sophiliomia.
So Bridget was an intelligent, beautiful, and independent woman by all accounts, an exemplar of the modern woman. I think.
Always are.
I think always are. Yeah, witches. Yeah, too smart for their own good. Don't know when to shut up.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh,
The term that I came across was like new woman or new women. So like historians use that term.
So what,
turn of
she
the
was just
century.
one day like, hey, I kind of want to vote. Burn the witch!
I don't know if she could vote, but she was a dressmaker's apprentice at the age of 18 when she met her
for her.
future husband, Michael Cleary, in Clonmel, Ireland. Michael was then 27 because back then it's cool, right? Whatever,
Oh.
fuck it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And he was working as a cooper, which, if anybody doesn't know what a cooper is, they basically build barrels.
Oh,
Wow. Thanks.
I think somewhere in the back of this old brain, I knew that.
I feel
Yeah.
like it was something that I knew once in a
Yeah.
dream somewhere.
Yeah, they basically build casks, barrels, buckets, basically any type of container made out of wood.
I guess that's gonna be my new job.
I got some wood from Michael Cleary.
Yeah. Oh,
In
yeah.
August of 1887, the two of them got married in a Catholic church located in Drangan, Ireland.
Right there.
Dragon.
He's Catholic, so clearly burning
They're
her
all
to death.
Catholic, dude. This is fucking
They're all
Ireland in the
Ireland.
fucking
Yeah.
19th century. They are all Catholic.
It's
Yes.
much easier than divorcing her.
To burn her?
Yeah, he's Catholic. They kind of frown upon divorce, especially
yeah.
in the 1900s Ireland.
He could have he could have moved to England and become a Protestant.
I mean, he could have just done what
Well,
most fathers
funny
do.
that
and
you
just
say
leave.
that. He did move to England
Mm.
after he was released from prison, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Because England is a lot friendlier to what do you call it? Partner side? I don't know.
Yeah,
Spouse
yeah, I
side?
don't know.
because
Spouse's
burning
side?
their spouses is like a common practice in England.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Sports aside, that can't be right.
It can't be right.
Listen,
Oh, that's a
It's not like-
disaffected.
I will end up
patricide?
on the FBI watch list and look this up while you guys continue the episode.
I'm
alright.
going over like 3 VPNs, so let me do it.
So what's important about this story? I love how you say that while live streaming on Twitch. Like they can't figure out. Like,
OPSEC is something that we should all practice.
exactly. So for about a year after the marriage, they actually lived apart. So he continued working in Clonmel, and Bridget stayed in wherever it is, Vadlia.
Fuck, what?
Vadlia.
Okay. That's like the perfect marriage. I don't know why he resorted to murder.
Well,
Yeah,
because she came back. That's why.
Typical.
He was just like,
Yeah. So, she stayed back home to care for her ailing mother, and during this time, she pretty much grew into her own. She continued as a dressmaker. She would end up buying her own sewing machine and becoming a milliner.
All right.
In addition, gave the Rockefellers a run for their money for a poor Catholic in Ireland. And began to keep her own chickens and sell the eggs to the neighbors.
see, she's
So,
clearly a witch because
Dude,
she's like ahead of her time. This is like, yeah,
clearly a witch. I
obviously
mean,
clearly a
she
witch.
had the brains and bronze to take care of herself.
I mean, shit,
So-
yeah.
This is like a 1970s woman stuck in like 1900s fucking.
I mean,
Ireland.
let's face it, in 2023, can we name one woman that can take care of themselves?
Whoa. Ooh. That was
wow.
wow.
This-
That was true, I guess, but yeah.
I think our position in the charts of like 1,000 just dropped to 1,000 in like 20.
Well, they know I'm being sarcastic, and if you
They
don't,
should.
then yeah, this is not the show for you.
Oh my god.
Wow,
that was good.
But eventually, Bridget's mother did pass away, and Michael
Aw.
moved back in. Michael moved back to Ballyvadlia to live with Bridget and her father, Patrick Boland. And the reason for that was because and I didn't look into this, but they could not buy a labor house themselves, but the father could. And so they essentially had the father buy their home, and then they all lived together.
This is 2023 in a nutshell. They're just moving in with their parents.
Parents, yeah.
It's weird. So yeah, okay, I understand why like she probably couldn't buy property because she's a woman, but like why couldn't her deadbeat husband buy property?
I think it
That's
had
weird.
something to do with his occupation as a cooper.
Oh,
Maybe it
okay.
wasn't a high enough status of an occupation.
Yeah, they
And
did
I
do
don't
that.
know what the father did for a living, but they called it a labor cottage.
I'm
Oh,
willing to
so maybe
bet that
it's like a business owner thing.
there's probably some kind of like thing in place where if you work long enough for a certain company or the government, you get a track of like a cottage at the end of it. So they were very much mooching off their parents to get this.
That is a leap. I like it though. It's a
Uh,
leap.
so it was a series of acts and policies in rural Ireland to help the housing crisis for agricultural workers. So it actually sounds like essentially what they used is they used the old father to get government money to build their home.
Oh my God, Kirby was right. Shit, it wasn't a leap.
No,
Sorry, I
yeah,
didn't. I'm sorry, buddy.
it's not a
I'm
fucking
sorry.
leap. That's how
No, that's
America
totally
was
right on.
born. A lot of it was like you would trade favors for the government and get tracts of land in return.
Or the government just said like, "Hey, all this land that belongs to like the people that have lived here for thousands of years, you guys can take it. It's
Yeah,
homestead."
Dude, not
literally.
even. They were like, we'll round them up and kill them for you too.
Well, yeah. Like those people that have like that farmland, we're gonna get them, and you can have the farmland.
Um, so Bridget and Michael were both regarded as being well educated and well off as compared to most of their neighbors, which makes sense on where they were living and everything.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah.
And before, well, I don't know. What do you guys? You guys got anything to say?
Yeah.
Anything?
Um, I did, and now I forgot it. Okay, so it kind of sounds like like this guy Michael like married up, like not just because she was like smart and like you know industrious, but it kind of sounds like her father may have been a little bit like a better like a higher caste than him as well. So I don't know.
You know, before we get
Well,
into
very
like
well could be.
fairies and changelings, I do kind of want to point out we've covered them before in the
We have
Banshees episode.
We
changelings
did,
are
which is
fabulous.
why that's why this is. I went in much more detail of her fucking death than anything else in this because it was pretty, to be honest with you, kind of gruesome. So
I'm sure I'm down for it. I'm so looking forward to it. Is
Hashtag trigger warning for all you kids out there.
we
Yeah.
don't do trigger warnings on
Yeah, we
this
definitely don't. I
podcast.
think the whole podcast
That
itself is a
is,
trigger warning.
yeah,
whole
that's
podcast
that's a big no-no.
Just
Uh,
yeah, okay. We'll just throw that on every single one of our podcasts from now on.
You know what we
Oh.
should think about though is getting a woman voice in here, because then we can say anything we want and
I
we won't
have
get in
been
trouble.
I'm not too
I've
sure
been
that's how
trying.
that works.
Oh, really?
I tried to do it on Upside Down Brain. I've really tried hard to get like the coolest like music chick that I know, my cousin's wife, but she had babies and things, and that's that's what happens. But yeah, it would be great to have like maybe a guest star who's of the female persuasion.
Yeah, without
We can
them
talk about it
having
later.
babies and things. What?
Well, yeah, okay. What's that? Maybe yeah. without them having babies.
Sounds like a real Michael Cleary on our podcast over here.
Oh,
What's up
hey.
next?
Hey. I've only burned like one wife.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Well, Ken, then how much of this did we go over in the Banshees
Oh
episode?
no, go ahead and cover it.
No, we didn't talk about. We touched basically on changelings and fairies, but we only talked about kind of fairy folk a little bit. It was more focused on banshees.
Okay. Well, so fairies in Ireland, or called and I have no idea how to pronounce this, Aussie, OC.
Oh, that is so far from the. Oh
That-
my god. Okay,
That's some
I'll
weird
pull up
Gaelic
the
shit.
Banshee. If you guys want to know how to say fairy in Ireland, go listen to our Banshee podcast.
Wait,
All
did you go over this?
Yeah,
thing?
we covered fairy mounds. We covered how to say them. We covered where they come from.
Its name, as
Whoa.
well as how to say more interesting.
It's so loud.
What was that?
Are you watching Bones in the background?
No,
God damn it.
no.
Okay.
No. I started watching a video on how to pronounce it.
It's literally. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article and the like the phonetic pronunciation is nothing. It's impossible. Like something.
Oh my god. All right, I'll find it because I put it in phonetically. You guys continue the episode.
Okay. All
Um.
right.
Okay. Well, the
People
problem is, well, so
of
it
the mounds.
translates to people of the mounds,
Yeah.
right? And they're not ghosts, demons, monsters, nothing like that. A lot of the stories have them as fallen angels, or like natural spirits, but you can kind of think of them as like another species
It's
rather than
ish.
something.
She.
It's not even close to what it's spelled.
Well,
I
then-
can't. I don't believe you.
That's
You're a
Celtic.
liar.
Celtic doesn't sound like it's spelt, but it's literally.
Have you seen
ish,
how
she.
like the Gaelic spelling of Teague?
So it's
Like-
is she?
Is she?
Ish.
Is
she?
she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say because this is a audio medium. This word is spelled AOS space SI, and it's pronounced is she.
Well, we know someone's racist against the Irish.
Yeah, bog people. Fuck yeah, I am.
Wait, I thought you were racist against
The Dutch? No, I got over
the
that.
Dutch. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Wait, you got a coming to Jesus moment in the last like 3 months?
Yeah, he was just like, you know what? I like the Dutch, but fuck Ireland.
Yeah, kinda. I don't know. I just I don't know. I don't like I don't like white Afrikaners. Let's just go with that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So the Ishi are described to be tiny people typical with wings, what we think of fairies.
Woo.
They reside in what are called fairy forts or fairy rings, which can range from the rings around mushrooms,
Ooh.
like hill forts, like natural rock formations. What else? Tunnels, natural like underground tunnels type things.
all of the awesomeness in nature could be a fairy fort.
You know,
Pretty much.
have I
Yeah.
told you guys about the time I decided to start a campaign to hate Canada?
What? Don't hate Canada.
Look, America every year has to hate a new country.
There are
You know-
buffer zone to the north, man.
Whether it be like Muslims or anything, just pick a country that America's hated before.
Isn't this the plot to Canadian Bacon with John Candy?
I don't know. I've actually never seen that.
Oh my god, it's so good. He like instigates a bunch of people to start a war with Canada.
But I decided that
Yeah, that's also the South Park movie.
we as
This is before
America
that.
have never really hated Canada. So they're white.
We
can
in
hate
America
Canada.
have always hated Canada.
Yeah,
Please.
we rip on Canada constantly.
Really hated Canada.
Ah, come on.
Look. Hear me out, okay? They're really just America's hat.
America's hat. I've never
Yeah.
heard that one, but I like it.
When I was
kinda
living in Canada, they called themselves US Light, which I thought was pretty funny.
I was actually talking to this girl one time, and I was telling her about my campaign to hate Canada, and she was like, "Well, I'm
And
Canadian."
it turned out she was Canadian. I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
knew
she's
where
so
that was going.
She looked at me and she's like, "Well, I'm Canadian," and just gives me this really like angry look, and I'm like, "Well, I'm
And then
sorry."
apologized right afterwards, right?
No, yeah, I did. I said I'm
No,
sorry.
not you, her.
Well, I said I'm sorry that you're Canadian. And she hated me for like the next 3 years because of it.
I'll keep this short. So a long time ago, I was at the Viper Room with a guy that I used to kind of work with when I worked in the music industry, and we were drinking, and we met these two women who were like, I'd define them as cougars, and so like my friend Grant's talking to them, we're talking to them, and then got a couple of drinks, and they were like, "Oh, so are you guys from LA?" And Grant, without like missing a beat's like, "No, we're Canadian." And the chicks are like, "Oh yeah, we're from Quebec."
Eh?
where are you from? And again, without missing a beat, he's like, "Montreal."
Eh?
And they thought we were Canadian for the next 36 hours, and it was fabulous.
That is hilarious. Because I'm pretty sure if you grow up in Montreal, you know at least some French.
Oh yeah, they didn't. They tried to ask us some questions, but then we went back to their hotel room, and I don't remember what happened after that.
I
Oh,
know.
I think I do. They were asking questions like,
Dear God.
This is the best episode we've ever done.
I was literally gonna say we can't be more misogynistic than the Kuchisake Uni, but I'm pretty sure
No,
you
this is
blown that
definitely
out
way
of the
worse
fucking
at this
water.
point. This is way worse. All right, so
Sorry, but
historically speaking, the man-made fairy forts are definitely forts that were built by the Danes. Um, but prior to this theory, they were believed to be homes of fairies, man. Just, wilding it out, partying it up. Fairies just doing what they do. Um,
awesome. I
but
wish I was very
these
close.
fairies are not the same ones found in Disney movies.
Aw.
They're mischievous, vain, and easily offended, often stealing household items, livestock, children, or women.
Yeah.
It's
They'll
pretty fucked up.
they'll replace your baby with their baby.
It's definitely an escalation, like
Although-
household items to livestock to children,
I
women.
Definitely
will-
is. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
will say in honor of the fairies, on like the side of the fairies, because I love playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah, you do.
Tinkerbell is pretty hot.
There's no disagreement here. She is a piece of ass.
She's got that boom boom that all the boys chase.
You imagine
had a-
Tinkerbell giving a hand job?
She's
Well,
got it's a full body job technically.
Well, I
Yeah,
was just about to
technically.
say, it's just like a full penis massage
You
at that
can
point.
wish her into normal size. I mean, you can just
Yeah.
clap your hands and shit.
That's the great thing about Tinkerbell is she can be tiny and easy to manage, and then if you want her to be a full-size woman, you can do it.
And an
Tinkerbell
endless
can't
supply
grow.
of fucking cocaine.
Dude, haven't you seen Hook?
She doesn't
become-
become full size in that, does
Yeah,
she?
she
For like a
does.
second? Yeah.
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 Then she
Julia
tries
Roberts?
to bang Peter, and Peter turns her down for some reason.
Yeah, because he's a fucking pussy.
Well, he's also a child, so let's
He's
all right,
Robin
we can be
Williams in that
misogynistic,
film.
but
He's
let's
not
be
a child.
honest. We gotta have a line somewhere.
Found the guy that hasn't seen fucking Hook apparently.
God, I love that fucking movie.
So you don't want to really piss off a fairy because you will get. Well, no, I don't want to say this line because we're just talking about fucking sexualizing Tinkerbell. You'll get fucked, but not that kind of fucked.
Oh yeah, your life will become fucked.
Yeah,
You go
man, these
piss
little
off some
bastards,
fairies.
they love their vengeance. That's definitely
Yeah.
one thing that I learned. They are spiteful fucking
yeah.
creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Um,
Irish women are though. They
Oh
got
my
that
God.
hair.
Jesus
That like,
Christ.
sets them on another.
Woo!
They're little firecrackers. I love
I'm
them.
kind of thinking that maybe we shouldn't release this episode.
Yeah. Oh man. This is like
Except we're
this is gonna
live
be
right now, so
this is gonna be one of those lost episodes that people are like, hey, yeah, I remember the three guys were talking about like Irish women and Tinkerbell.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Max, like,
okay.
edit. Oh, the episode's 3 minutes long.
Yeah. I was married to a redhead. Just saying. And
And was she a vengeful, spiteful spirit?
no comment.
Okay, so you're not.
Okay.
I think she's a changeling.
He's the mother of my children, who also, strangely enough, my children all have wings. So I don't know.
Well, changelings don't have wings.
Well, my kids do.
Wait, your kids have wings?
That's what I'm saying. She's the mother of my children. They have wings.
Pretty sure that's demons, Max.
Ah, fuck.
So the reason that we have changelings is because it's thought that fairies, this is the only thing I found, but they have like a hard time producing offspring of their own.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. I don't know why they exist as a race
So
then.
what you're saying is, since they want to produce offspring, Tinkerbell's probably constantly DTF.
Oh my god. God. Wow. Okay. I will tell. I actually know a little bit about this subject, like for real.
What, you know about fucking fairies?
Yeah.
I'm talking, for clarification,
No,
I'm
no.
talking
I'm
about the Irish fairy folk.
I am talking about the Irish fairy folk. So yes, they have a hard time reproducing, and they also have a hard time raising their children. So they will switch out their offspring for a human baby, and I think it had something to do with like they would raise the human in their fairy folk construct, and then when the changeling comes of age, it like kills the parents and stuff, and then they have two kids in fairyland.
Yeah, the fairy dad's like, well, I'm off to buy a pack of cigarettes. I'll be back in an hour. Then
Yeah,
just
then he
disappears.
replaces-
And then they also abduct women to tend to their fairy babies.
Yep. Well, I
Like
think the
nurses.
guy, I think the fairy dad going to get his cigarettes. Usually he's got an infant in his arms. Like, I'm gonna go get some cigarettes, and then he drops the baby off and never
Which
comes
is them
back.
out.
Yeah.
So changelings are also known as oafs or oafs. Oafs. or
Wait, is that
oafs,
why my family keeps telling me I'm adopted?
oafs,
Yes.
oafs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Oaf,
sense.
right? Oaf? Off or oaf?
Oaf, off? I don't know.
Uh.
AUF or OAF?
It's probably something like Sally or something because it's Celtic.
Probably, yeah, if it's Celtic. Typical
Sally.
traits of a changeling child would be appearing sickly, stunted growth, having a beard or long teeth. Traits of an adult changeling
the fuck?
typically.
No, this sounds like me. I am adopted. I'm a changeling from Ireland.
Yeah, but you're not a child with a beard. There's a difference.
He was. He came
I
out
was
with a
like,
beard. I've seen
yes, okay.
pictures.
Just
You
straight
seen
out
the
of
baby
the womb.
pictures?
Yep.
Traits of an adult changeling, which are typically newlywed women or mothers, appear to be sick and then they just die. So it's just a big switcheroo. Changelings can be dealt with by putting in a fire. All of this is very important for when it comes to Bridget, just FYI. Changelings can be dealt with by putting in a fire for them to be Caspered up in the chimney. Just whoop, go right up. And you can protect yourself from fairies by, spreading iron and salt around thresholds of the home, like windows, doors, etc. Or you could try to appease them by leaving them some food or sugar, because they're basically insects. Peace offering, a la Sugar Branch.
Wow. So you're saying changelings in Ireland are fucking insects. Listen, I am going to sit here and advocate for changeling rights. Tinkerbell, I'm on your side.
Changelings
Give me a
rights?
call.
Oh my god.
If you feel like you have been violated by Alex, I will protect you in court and we will get all the money he has.
But
Yeah.
Now you're a barrister?
I'm a lawyer.
Well, that's a barrister.
Yes.
I was trying
They
to use
also
the British
apparently
thing.
wearing a piece of clothing inside out helps, ward them off, which I found kind of weird as shit. I don't know if they're just like really into like Gucci and high end fashion
Yeah,
and they
that's
just
weird.
like judge people, but
I was wearing my shirt inside out like all day the other day, and I didn't even realize it.
didn't really find a reason for that one.
It's a
Keeping
weird
up
one.
with the
I like it.
Kardashians. They're obviously the Kardashians of Ireland.
Now
my God.
that's a fucking sketch comedy that we should send that to fucking SNL.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. That's
watch
fucking
it.
hilarious.
Yes, it is.
Fucking Kim Kardashian style, like We Are the Kardashians, like fucking fairy style.
Fairy folk. If anyone wants to know like a really great source on like fairy lore that is easy to read, I recommend the book Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It's also a show. It's on Netflix. It's very good.
So I know how Kirby feels about fairies, Max.
Are we talking fairy folk? Like
Yeah,
how I
fairy
feel about
folk.
fairy folk? I love them. They're fabulous. Fairy kings, fairy queens, Tinkerbell. Yeah.
Fairies are
Yes,
people
please.
too. I mean, technically, they're fairy folk,
yeah.
but they are
They're not.
people.
I love just in general, I love the so Irish folk tales are always the best. But I also love the idea of like the fairy folk thing. It's kind of borrowed from like Norse mythology, and like in Norse mythology, all of the gods and the giants and the fairies sort of live alongside humans, just kind of like in their own little dimension, and they kind of come from it. And it's the same thing in like Irish folklore. Is like the fairy folk live in this fairy land that is like a weird, fucked up version of our reality. And I kind of love that idea.
So they're like the mirror universe in Star Trek.
No,
I
imagine
just
it's
not
like
as
Rivendell.
evil.
I bet it's beautiful and peaceful over there.
Technically, it's not. There's a lot of like dead bodies and stuff and skulls and things. It's more like a really macabre version of our reality instead of like Rivendell.
That sounds fucking metal. Yes,
I know, it's
sounds
awesome. That's why I love it.
wonderful. What is
I am
wrong
for
with
the
the two
fairy
of you?
folk.
Well, I don't. I love skulls and
Although
bones.
this is coming from the guy that wanted to live in the back doors, so
I
or the
would
back rooms.
100% bang
Back
an
doors, yeah, I want to
emo.
live in back
Yeah,
doors.
you did want to live in the back rooms, though, man.
Listen,
My name is also Murder, so
and I would
come on.
bang an emo Tinkerbell because that sounds kind. In fact, I'm gonna look that up later.
Isn't that just Crazy Jane from Doom Patrol?
Now,
Yeah, she's hot.
do
I
you
know.
think having sex with a fairy would be considered bestiality?
No, I mean,
No,
no.
yeah, nah, it's not bestiality. It's interspecies mingling, technically,
You know what?
because
Well, that sounds
Besti-
like bestiality to me.
well, but
Play-
bestiality, the animal has no like consent, whereas a fairy can consent.
Yeah, it's the same
Interesting.
bestiality as like Belle fucking the Beast.
I don't know. I've seen my dog hump people. Does that mean they can hump him back?
Yes,
Why?
actually, it does.
What?
It absolutely does.
That's the consent we're looking for.
That is
Oh boy, that's not gonna hold up in courts. Listen, people.
That is
I wanna
how
let-
you show
do not
dominance.
Follow that.
Do not follow my advice.
No, he was humping the stranger that came in through the door, so I thought that meant yes.
All right, let's get to the most interesting
wow.
and the whole point of this
Woo.
podcast, the death of Bridget Cleary.
I'm so interested in this.
Okay. So, as Bridget was an independent woman, she would often make deliveries of her eggs by herself. And this
Chicken eggs,
really
not her eggs.
did not make Michael too happy. He was not a happy camper about this. This woman just running around all over the place without him. This is just a big no-no.
Making money, being a
Making money,
businesswoman.
yeah, right? Helping paying the goddamn bills. What a bitch.
Talking
How
about
dare
voting
she?
rights.
Unbelievable.
How dare she? Wearing pants? Oh my god.
So on March 4th, 1895, Bridget, like any other day, went off to deliver some eggs to her father's cousin, Jack Doone, who will come back up in the story again because he's a pussy. And it was a 3-mile route. And on this route, and I'm going to need help with this one, guys, there was a
Okay,
ferry
God.
fort known as
I mean,
Kurgan,
we're not
Nagler.
Irish scholar like
Kleinegrodnig Hill.
Kyle Negranahog.
There's no way that it's pronounced that because it's
Well,
Gaelic.
it's
It's
how it's
Gaelic.
written, so
I know.
it's
It's just-
KYLENAGRANAGH. For
I'm
anybody
looking
that
for
wants to look that up.
I'm glad this is
Um,
like the 6th language we butchered on this show.
Well, it's because none of us are linguists, so.
I'm a cunning linguist.
And she would have passed this hill, many times delivering her eggs. Something that was built into her routine, nothing out of the ordinary. But on this day, when she returned from her delivery, Bridget fell ill, and this would prove to be a fatal, unintentional mistake on her part. She had cold shivers and complained of her head hurting. And basically, in the coming days, Michael and her own father, Patrick, would be almost convinced that she was a changeling, replaced by fairies.
She got a fucking flu?
Right. Bronchitis is what she was diagnosed with.
It was
Wow.
pretty dangerous just being a woman in the 1900s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
So-
get the flu and you're basically accused of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's essentially what happened. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
there was more behind this than just,
Oh yeah. I just
a
it
group
seems like-
delusion.
I'm
I'm
pretty
guessing
sure
that-
she was like, why don't we try this thing called medicine Michael? And he was like, witch. It's a witch.
Witch. She's a witch. Oh my god.
So after 9 days after she
Yeah.
fell ill on March 13th, 1895, the doctor, Dr. Crean, finally came to their cottage.
What
He
the fuck was
diagnosed
he
her.
doing for 9 days?
Dude, they didn't try to get him for a few days. What I read was, well, in his testimony, because if anybody's interested in this, you can read like the trial. Like this
Oh, I
is
love
all This is all documented. You can read transcripts from the trial.
He was like, "I'm
Um,
sorry, Your Honor, but Tears of the Kingdom for the Nintendo Switch just dropped, so I was stuck playing that for like the first 5 days."
So he claims that the husband, I think, tried to reach out to him on the 11th, which is still 7 days afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a long time in between.
Yeah.
But he couldn't
true.
get there until the 13th for whatever reason. He's probably like the only town doctor, so I'm sure he's busy as fuck.
Yeah,
And
fucking bloodletting with leeches and shit. It
yeah,
takes a lot.
well, I mean, he diagnosed her with nervous excitement, which I'm gonna start fucking using that all the time.
That's pretty
As
much
soon as I
what
get sick, I'm gonna be like, oh, it must be the nervous excitement.
That's code for menstrual hysteria,
Oh,
honestly.
So he was
dude.
just like, "She has mad cow disease."
No, she
But
has
I
a
love
period.
how it's like he diagnosed her with nervous excitement and then bronchitis. So it's like, why don't you just say bronchitis?
Yeah.
Like, why we don't need this other diagnosis of nervous excitement. Like, you
Exactly.
know what it was. It was bronchitis. Like,
just
what the
leaves-
fuck are you
bronchitis.
talking about, bro?
He just leads into Michael. He's like, "It must be that time of the month, eh?"
Yeah. Look, women were put into mental institutions because they were, I don't know.
PMSing.
Yeah. People were crazy then, man.
But so basically during this time frame, because so many days went by, Michael became, quote unquote, as he claims, convinced that she was a changeling. That
Wow.
could be debated. We could debate that for a while, I think. But he was very convinced that she was a changeling. And a lot of that has to do with the very man that she delivered her eggs to, Jack Dunn. He was a local storyteller or a
Probably is
Shanchai,
Shanchai, yeah.
Shanchai, and specialized in local folklore of the fairies. And then even so, probably convinced by Michael's own delusions and suspicions, Dunn urged Michael to seek the help of a local fairy doctor by the name of Dennis Gainey. So this fucking town had a goddamn fairy doctor. I mean, come on.
Do you want to know how to pronounce it?
Yeah.
Shawnee.
What is it? Shawnee?
Shawnee. Yeah.
Shawnee.
Listen,
Yeah.
if there can be a fairy doctor in Ireland, then there can definitely be a fairy attorney. So I'm gonna go over there and set up shop on behalf
Dude, that's an
of the
Adult
fairy
Swim
folk.
show. You should pitch that to Adult Swim. You know how they had fucking
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
fucking Bird at Law?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Harvey
I'll be like-
Birdman, attorney at
Yeah,
law.
Harvey Birdman at Law.
I'll be like, the Minotaur feels slighted because you guys keep calling him a fucking half man, half beast. And he's just trying to live his life in the fairyland, you fucking dickheads.
Sure. I think this is I think you need to go to fairy law school and get your fairy juris doctorate.
I hope it gets recognized by the bar.
The JDF.
Yeah, I'll just be like, no, don't worry. I'm well versed in fairy law.
Actually, if in that book I mentioned Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, there's quite a bit of fairy law in it. So
See, I'll just read
What's
that
the
book.
name of the book? Is that the name of the book?
yeah, it's called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. There's a show too. The show is actually quite good. Here, I'll just send it to you.
No,
It's
I have it.
Okay, it's about magic and things.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, check
Seems
out the show
interesting.
too. It's good, very good.
But so at one point, Michael was claiming that his wife was 2 inches taller and too fine to be his wife.
So hold
Which,
up.
I mean, if that's one of your fucking complaints,
Oh my god.
His wife got
she's too
hotter,
looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
got pissed about it.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny too? She got hotter as she was laying incapacitated in bed. So do you think that had something?
That's
She
a
might have
fucking
lost
win.
like 10 pounds or something. Or
Yeah, dude, right? Oh, you look so good. You're not eating or drinking. Look at all that weight you lost.
Jesus. She probably was like, I have to eat and drink to live. And he was like, no, you look too good. You got to stop. You just stay right there, baby.
So he basically believed that while she was passing this fairy fort, that she was abducted by the local fairies and that they replaced his wife with a fairy, as we know, a changeling.
I mean, it's so logical. I mean, I can't think of any other explanation.
None,
Makes sense,
none
yeah.
whatsoever.
Definitely has
Yeah.
nothing to do with bronchitis.
And so in the coming days between March 13th and until her death on March 15th, she basically was tortured for the next 3 days.
Of course. Yeah.
Pretty much. And a lot of people really dropped the ball on this one. So, as stated before, the doctor came to the cottage on the 13th, diagnosed her, and prescribed her some medicine. Seeing no real cause for concern or death, he left.
Probably laudanum.
Later that same day, Father Ryan, the local priest, came and gave Bridget her last rites. Again, seeing no real cause for concern, left.
Hold on. So he's like, "Here's your last rites. No concern here. I'm out."
Nothing. No, he
Yeah.
did it basically at the request of the husband.
Yeah, that's okay. Man, there's so many
He
people who could have
even
been like,
in the trial, Father Ryan even commented that Bridget was coherent and intelligible. That she
oh my
seemed
god.
like pretty good, right? Like that there was nothing out of the norm.
Yeah.
So that was the 13th, and I believe also in the 13th, basically what was happening is Michael stopped giving her. He refused to give her the medicine prescribed by Dr. Crean because he
God.
believed that it wouldn't do anything because she was a changeling, and was essentially feeding his wife urine and like medicinal herbs that Gainey said to give her to
You know,
basically like excise the fairy.
What happened was Michael Cleary obviously was eating Lucky Charms and was like, "Oh, I have an idea."
You think?
I think he ate some bad mushroom salad.
Yeah, man. It's like, oh, there's so many
Or
things
he
wrong
was
with
having
this.
like a schizophrenic breakdown.
Because
Yeah,
his wife
I don't
got
know.
sick.
Yeah. Well, she was the
What the
fucking
fuck?
breadwinner, so
Yeah, yeah,
I
for
mean,
real, right?
yeah. But it's just like I'm not going to give her the medicine, but I will do a little bit of a golden shower with her. Like,
Look,
wow,
if I could go
wow.
back in time, I'd be like, Michael, stop feeding your wife urine, okay? She's hotter. She's gonna get through this, and she'll continue making money for you.
What I
This is a
also don't
win-win.
know, what I also don't know in the very little research that I did, the very
Yeah.
quick research I did, is all the sources say urine, but they don't specify what kind of urine.
Just gonna ask, was it his, hers, her
I
dad's?
don't know. Dude, you can see down at the bottom. I read like 8 articles for this,
Oh, I'm sure.
and
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud.
nowhere in it does it clarify whose urine or what urine it was.
I'm pretty
Wow.
positive Michael was just
Peeing in a jar and just tossing it on his wife.
doing water rolled. He's like, "You want it straight from the tap, eh?" I gotta go now.
You don't
Um,
you don't pee in a Mr. Coffee and get taster's choice.
So on the 14th, the next day, Father Ryan was called for again by Bridget via messenger. And this dude essentially was like, nah, I did last rites yesterday. I don't really see the need to go see her. And basically just sent the messenger away.
He's like,
Was
"Look,
like,
look,
nah, she's
Wow.
fine. Like,
I just freed one of the divine beasts in Breath of the Wild, so I'm kind of on to the Gerardo town now. I'm not going back to
Yeah.
Bridget.
I did your last rites. You're going to heaven. Why'd you call me again?
Yeah.
and then most of this, I will say, comes from an account from a direct witness, Joanna Burke, who's a neighbor. So, like, the next couple days, so the 14th and 15th, are like direct, like, there's an eyewitness recounting this at the
Okay.
trial. So, on the evening of the 14th, Michael Cleary, along with John Dunn, Patrick Kennedy, James Kennedy, and William Kennedy, who are all family members of Bridget, I believe that most of them were cousins, forced Bridget to ingest a home remedy, like we said, urine, and they
All right.
forced her to consume the urine by taking a red hot poker and essentially burning her on the forehead so she'd scream. And they would, I don't know why I'm laughing.
Jesus Christ.
It's
I don't
ridiculous,
know why
man.
I'm laughing, but they would burn her forehead to make her scream to force her mouth open so they could pour the urine down her throat.
Do you think at one point one of them was just like, well, we fucked up?
So we'll get into that for the next day
All
because
right.
there's some stuff that I didn't put in the outline, but they have direct quotes from people because of the trial.
Oh my
They
So
were just like, hey, Michael, before we shoved all this urine down her throat, did you try any, like Tylenol?
um so upon the ingestion of the urine, so this is still the night of the 14th, the men pressed Bridget against the coal-hot grate of the fireplace,
Oh
further
my
burning her.
God.
And Michael demanded that she say her name 3 times, because apparently in this folklore, if you're able to say your name 3 times, then you're not a changeling, like you're the real person.
Well,
So after screaming, yes, I am Bridget Boland, daughter of Patrick Boland, 3 times, the men agreed that she could be laid back down in her bed and that she was, in fact, Bridget.
Oh,
And
wow.
wow.
Glad that was solved.
everything seemed honky-dory.
They really could
Honky-dory.
have done. I mean, if they really wanted to do the bullshit 3 times, why did they have to burn her and make her drink piss?
Who the fuck knows?
Jesus.
So the day of the 15th rolled around.
Why didn't they just start with that? Like, hey,
That's what I'm saying.
Can you say your name 3 times? You know,
Yeah.
they immediately went fucking Hellraiser on her.
Well, so from my understanding is they were doing the 3 names thing like throughout, like these like urine tests and
Well, she
like
was
all of
choking
like
on piss.
poking her with like a red hot. They were doing this throughout the whole thing, and she
Wow.
basically Michael just wasn't being convinced by it. Um,
I'm not gonna lie. Listen,
or
it
she just couldn't
sounds-
do it because she was screaming in pain.
It
I mean,
sounds like when he was getting married, and the priest was like, "In sickness," and Michael was like, well, "Can we just skip that part, eh? Yeah, we don't need to worry about in sickness and in death."
So on the day of the 15th, Bridget seemed to have gotten better. Like her symptoms subsided. She was way more alert and aware. She was less sick. And her husband was satisfied after the night prior that his wife was his wife.
Wow.
And so over the course of the day, about 13 people came to visit Bridget, none suspecting she was a fairy. All of them said she seemed better, and the one thing that was
They're
surprising
just
to
like,
read.
"Hey, Michael, why is she all burned up and choking up?"
Well, that's interesting. So she apparently didn't complain to any of them. She never apparently, and I don't know, like obviously this could be after the fact and the witnesses are trying to cover their asses, but they all almost unanimously claim that she never once complained that she
Well,
was being mistreated.
That probably points to like a pattern of abuse on Michael's part. Then
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know, like because if she's conditioned to not say like, yeah, he burned me with pokers and made me drink his piss, it kind of like maybe he like smacked her around
and
like
then he
on
made
the
her
regular.
watch like Waterworld 4 times in a row.
Well,
So-
so the
This is
abuse thing
torture.
might be coming up here. So
Okay.
So because she gets a good zinger in. So during that evening, she did get out of bed, she got dressed, and she joined her husband, and they had some visitors, Joanna Burke being one of them, and a few of the other men. I believe Jack Dunn was there.
Okay.
And they were sitting by the fire and they were talking about, fairies and spirits and things like that. And she at one point turned to her husband and said, "Your mother used to go with the fairies, and that is why you think I am going with them." And this took Michael by surprise. And again, I did not put this in here, but he said, he apparently replied with, "Did you speak to my mother about this?" And she replied, "Yes. She told me that she went with the fairies for 2 full days." Which probably means she was having an affair with somebody in town.
Definitely.
Would
That
be
is-
my
that is
guess,
code
right?
for that.
It's code for
Yep.
I'm fucking neighbor Jimbo over here.
He's the fairies.
Hey,
Wait, did you put the
um,
trial on the outline,
I did not.
or do you remember the outcomes of the
transcripts?
trial?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Okay.
because we should
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that a little bit at the end.
Yeah. We can definitely go over that. It was pretty straightforward. There were really no questions about what was going to happen there. Um, so so obviously his paranoia grew a little bit on that, and again, like I said, Joanna Burke was there. She apparently made some tea and offered to Bridget, and this, for whatever reason, fucking sent Michael off the fucking his rockers
How
and
dare she
demanded,
ask for tea? This is a
dude,
potato household.
basically. And again, I don't know where they come up with these rituals, but apparently this is also a common thing with witches, like just in general. But he wanted her to eat
What,
3
they just
pieces
drink
of,
tea?
well, no,
No.
bread.
Bread,
You're
yeah.
you're forced to eat slices of bread and say your name after you've eaten this dry fucking bread before you've had any tea, water.
Oh my
I mean, she was
God.
sick for like 10 days, so I can't
Yeah.
imagine how dehydrated she was. Like,
Bronchitis. Jesus.
like, so, yeah, she was able to do it twice. Unfortunately for
Wow.
her, was not able to do it the third time, and he immediately threw her down on the floor, leaped on top of her, grabbed oil from a lamp, and just doused her and lit her on fire. And she would die that night,
Wow.
March 15th, 1895.
You know, it
Now,
almost sounds like he
Woo.
just didn't want to pay alimony. He was like, I ain't
dude,
paying
it's
for half your
1895.
potatoes,
I don't
Bridget.
even know if he would have had to
No.
pay alimony.
No, if she left him or divorced him or whatever, she'd end up being
Like
destitute.
destitute.
Yeah, nobody would even talk to her.
But so some of
He's
the
just
stuff
a
that I
dick.
didn't put in there is the visitors were there when this happened, right? Like he
Oh, he did this in
apparently
front of
locked
people?
the front. Yeah, he locked the front door
Woo.
and did this in front of, I believe it was 6 people.
Wow.
And they all demanded to leave. They did not try to help her. They
Oh,
did not
good.
try to convince him not to do this. They were just basically like, "We want to go,"
Are
and
you
he was
saying,
like,
one of them wasn't like, well, I didn't pay for dinner and the show, but, freebie.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like one of those. It's because it was like backwards 19th century Ireland. They were probably like, "Oh, this is a personal matter between those people. We should.
Yeah, he
We-
just
Yeah.
lit his wife on fire. You know what?
This is a very private thing. We don't want to be involved.
I don't really
He
need to
can
be a
burn his
part of
wife."
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Jesus.
like I said before too, one of them basically tried to leave the room, and Michael was like, "No, you gotta help me bury the body. Like, where are you going?
Wow.
Like, you
Wow.
ain't going anywhere, man."
Where did they bury the body?
Like behind the cottage, like on the property, and the property was half acre, so it wasn't that big. So they just buried, yeah, they just buried the
Oof.
body in the back.
Wow. Okay. Uh, I have the Wikipedia page open because I wanted to just kind of like see what I wanted to see what some of the quotes were, like what her insulting him. But
So that was not on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That's actually, I found a cool website called Library Ireland,
ooh,
and it's, and what I believe is, I don't know, it's Michael J. McCarthy,
okay.
which I believe was written in 1901. So this is only 6 years after.
Wow.
So
okay.
yeah, so this was written 6 years after the murder, and he actually spoke to the people that were there. Like, these are
Damn.
firsthand accounts.
Woof.
So she was just
Ah.
like, your mother dances with fairies, and Michael's like, oh yeah, and starts
Pretty
shoving
much
bread
just
down her
lost his
throat.
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, just lost his shit.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's psychotic. What happened to him? What was the trial like?
Yeah. So what happened at the trial?
Well, give me 1 second, because there was something. There was something that I wanted to say, which was
Oh my God, this is a quote. Okay, so I'm just going to say this while you're looking for this. This is a quote from Cleary to Father Ryan. People may have some remedy of their own that might do more good than the doctor's
Yes.
medicine.
yes,
Wow.
and he's talking about the herbal medicine that came from Gandhi, like the local
The
fairy
urine.
doctor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
basically, he just got the WMD of like your wife has cancer. The WebMD.
Well, yeah, or
yeah,
yeah.
basically.
I mean, it also sort of is reminiscent of like fundamentalist Christians or like Mormons, like when their kids get sick, they're like, "Oh, we can't go to the fucking hospital. We gotta pray the sickness away."
Like,
So
no, they don't need vaccines. Listen, okay, ask Google because Google knows everything. That's
The internet
basically what happened here.
never lies.
Internet never
Yep.
lies.
as
Yep.
far as the trial goes, it was pretty clear cut. I believe
Mhm.
10 people got charged with either the murder or the like assisting,
Disposal.
like a
Yeah.
like assisting a murder, like accomplice.
Or just watching it.
They were all men. No women were charged. So Cleary himself got 20 years in a penal colony. Um,
He wasn't like executed.
no, he got
No.
no.
Oh my
So that's
God.
interesting. I'll tell you what happened to him afterwards. So he got 20
Yikes.
years.
Yeah.
And then the rest of like the 9 men or so, they got anywhere between 6 months and I believe it was like 10 or 15 years.
You know, I kind of feel bad for some of them because they just showed up for a dinner party, and like they were like, "I'm gonna go have dinner at Michael Cleary's house," and then Michael went off his fucking rocker and burned his wife, and these guys were just like, "Yeah, so about those Yankees."
Yeah. So he
About the
so
Red Sox.
the prosecutor oh man, the prosecutor withdrew the murder charge against Cleary and they charged him instead with manslaughter, which is why he only got 20 years of
Manslaughter
penal
of the fairy
servitude.
folk. Listen, they are underrepresented in the courts. I will be there for you, the fairy folk. Give me a
I'm
call.
s- I'm
Yeah,
so
so I
glad
can
you're an
actually give
advocate
you
for fairy
the
folk.
exact. So Cleary himself, Michael Cleary got 20 years for manslaughter. Patrick Kennedy got 5 years for wounding.
Wounding.
John Dunn got 3 years. William and James Kennedy got a year and a half each. Patrick Boland, her father, and Michael Kennedy got 6 months. And Mary Kennedy's turn came. The judge said tearfully, I will not pass a sentence on an old woman. So basically, anybody that was involved with holding her down while
Yeah.
Michael
Okay.
burned her or
Yeah.
like threw urine on her or anything like that basically got sentenced or something.
They
Listen,
were
Now,
charged. They were convicted of quote unquote wounding, which is a weird one.
is your local parish holding you down and shoving urine down your throat?
Oh my
Are
God.
people pulling you in front of the fireplace and burning you and demanding they call your name? Are you being misrepresented as a minotaur? Call 1-800-CROOK for you. I am your attorney. I am well versed in fairy law, and I got your back.
Yeah. This is going to be our new money making scheme, and I am behind it.
yeah. And so Michael Cleary eventually was released, moved to London, and then moved to Montreal.
Montreal.
Yep.
Canada,
Oh my
this is why
God.
you hate Canadians.
Wow. Wait. So like, okay, I'm just looking at. Okay, he did 15 years. Oh my God. Like, okay. Um. Uh. Uh. This is like the late 19th century. Like, how many people were like hanged in public like every week, and this guy fucking went to a penal colony for 15 years.
Technically, I looked this up a little bit, but this was the last witch trial of like Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
this is
was.
But it
the
wasn't
last-
really a witch trial. It
Well,
was a murder trial.
It was, but it was Michael Cleary's witch trial. I mean, he decided to be judge, jury, and
Wow.
executioner all in one, and it was the last quote unquote witch burned in Ireland.
Wow. Woof. That's I don't even. Wow. This was a good one. This was a really good one, guys.
So that is the murder of Bridget Cleary,
Yeah.
who died at 26 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Just because
Also,
she loved Halloween too much.
yeah. Maybe. I'm just so there is a section on the Wikipedia page titled psychiatric aspects of the case, and I'm not even going to read it because they're all fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up, because
Yeah, thank you.
they were
This is an excuse for a very clearly like violent man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring that up because I also thought it was a little ridiculous, because it was, for anybody that is curious what we're talking about, one of the theories was, I'm assuming you pronounce that capgras
Yeah, Capra.
delusion,
Yeah.
in which
Which
a
is like a
person holds a delusion that a friend, spouse, parent, another close family member, or pet has been replaced by an identical imposter. So it's
bullshit.
just, I don't know. I found that theory to be just very,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It says like he developed a brief psychiatric disorder.
There were too many people involved for
Yeah.
me to really give that credence,
No.
I think.
You know,
This
well,
is
I
just
mean, there is
yeah.
something to be said for mass hysteria, and I'm not taking
Well,
Michael's side at all here.
but this is so that this is some people claim so this became a case of folie à plaisir. This is some French word. After he persuaded others that she had been replaced by a fairy. So like this sort of like idea, this which I don't really buy, is that he was so persuasive that other people were like, yeah, definitely a witch, definitely a fairy, got a burner.
You know, well, what I found
Oof.
interesting about this case was like the result of it made England question whether or not the Irish can govern themselves. Like it became a political statement because they were at the time, you know, under Irish home rule, and
Yeah.
England was like, so if they're gonna act like savage tribes, maybe we should step in and do something about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, not to say that like England didn't have a good long history of like awful shit too,
Or like
but I get
shoving themselves in the situations that they don't belong in.
or that. Yeah.
Kind of like a certain country I know.
Uh.
Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah, that's it. It's Canada.
Yeah. Sure. Oh man, this is like I love it. I love it. I love this kind of shit.
I will say, because I just thought this was cool, but apparently there is an Irish nursery rhyme that reads, "Are you a witch? Are you a fairy? Or are you the wife of Michael Cleary?" Which I have to admit is pretty good.
That's how
That
I put
actually is
myself
really good.
to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that because she definitely wasn't any of those things. Uh, God, I wish there were. I really wish that like any of this like pointed to like a real motive because like I don't. There's like a lot of shit that I don't buy on Michael Cleary's part. You know.
I bet there's like parts of the story we're not hearing because
Well, of
you're
course.
right. Like she remaining quiet almost hints at a history of abuse. Although she
Yeah.
did straight up like fucking shoot a zinger at Michael Cleary by
I
being
mean,
like, "Your mother dances with fairies." I like this
someone's
woman,
got. I like her too. I mean, at some point you got to break after being like burned and fed piss. Like you gonna just like something's gonna come out of your mouth.
dude.
Ugh.
Honestly, I don't know why Michael didn't just be like, "Bridget, I'm going out for cigarettes," and then never come back. Because I would have married Bridget Cleary. This
I
chick
would have
sounds
too.
awesome. She got
Probably
pranked.
because back then the cigarettes were just like behind the house.
Yeah, that's true too. Actually.
Probably just grew your own tobacco.
Yeah, probably smoking out of like a little wooden pipe or something.
She's just like, "What? You're going 5 feet, Michael Cleary? Get your ass back in there."
I oh man, yeah, it's the whole okay. I just there just in general. I just want to say this like witch trials and sort of witch accusations throughout history uh, have been, except maybe the exception might be in like Iceland, they burned a lot of like male witches in Iceland too. But like in France and Germany, where there were like really bad like witch trials, a lot of it centered around witches making men impotent,
Salem
or
witch trials.
yeah, Salem witch trials, or this was very common in France. Men claimed that witches stole their penises.
Well,
Um,
no, because a lot of the Salem witch
Well,
trials was kids taking it far too far and people
well,
being
yeah,
afraid of witches and believing them.
it
well,
really, yeah.
so in France though, how do you? What were they cutting off their own dicks
No,
just to
I
make
don't.
a point?
I don't think. See, that's the thing. I think it was like such a like it was it. You know, there's such a like repressed or whatever. Like nobody was gonna say like, well, show me where your dick used to be.
I will
You could
say that.
just
Yeah, I
yeah.
would say that.
I
I'd be
would
like,
say that
You know,
show
I
me
too.
don't
your
go
dick
around to my
now,
normal
good
day
sir.
trying to look at dicks or anything, but if you're like, we need to fucking burn this bitch because she fucking took my dick, I'd be like, well, let me see your no dick, Ken.
I'd be
Ken
like, good
doll.
sir, drop your pants. I wish to see what's below your trowel.
I think that just wasn't the thing. Like I mean, also got to think like, okay, uh, the Catholic Church during that time,
Is all
and I
about
guess
seeing young kids' dicks.
well,
So this should be
that's not
no.
where it's not where I was going, but you're right. No, but if you think about like the Spanish Inquisition, right? Like they the inquisitors of the Catholic Church would torture people into confessions of like you know being Jewish or
It sounds
being a witch.
honestly, it sounds like the LAPD.
Jesus.
But yeah, like so, like you gotta if you think about it in that context, if a man of any sort of like standing is like that woman, she used magic and stole my dick and balls. The Catholic Church is going to be like, and the Catholic state, is going to be like, yeah, obviously, that man has been slighted. Let's burn
You've
the
been
witch.
giving us a lot of money this year.
Yeah,
This man
exactly.
is very clearly dickless, so we need to prosecute that.
In Germany too was a big one on the missing penises.
I think
And
at
I
some
think
point we should cover some of the witch trials because that does
I
fall
would
right within our purview.
I would love to cover the ones that like you don't hear about. Like the Icelandic ones are really interesting again because they kind of just like a lot of people were burned. I mean Salem they burned a couple of dudes too. Oh no, they didn't actually burn anybody in Salem. They hung them. But like yeah, the Icelandic witch stuff is like really hardcore. Like it's like
Just out of
it's like
curiosity, I know this is not what we're doing the episode on, but why a lot of men too? Like, what was the driving? Like, were they trying to like quell people speaking out on a certain topic,
What
or
for the
it was
Salem witch trials?
was
no
it
for
just
the
that
Icelandic stuff.
hysterical?
In Iceland, I believe it was a combination of like trying to like get people out of like political power because I think they burned a lot of like sort of like higher like upper class kind of people who are ruling, but also it's an island nation, right? Like so like mass hysteria takes on a whole new form in a place that is like isolated.
Yeah, okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
Well,
it happened in Salem too. It was basically two teenage girls like yes anding each other into like killing 20 people.
Hey
yeah.
man, that's improv, baby.
It was
It is
literally a
improv.
joke that got out of hand. But
Hmm.
we're gonna have to we'll cover that in another episode.
Yeah.
What do you say we go ahead and wrap this one up?
I think it's a great idea.
Um,
This was an awesome episode and it was very spooky. Great for Halloween. Thank you for doing this, Alex.
yeah,
You're
thanks,
welcome.
Alex.
Yeah,
A shout outs, Alex for writing the episode. Uh,
absolutely.
John Zara, you'll find him on the YouTube channel. John JOHNZARRA. He allows us to do the ending music. Shout outs to the people that interacted today. That is Bozo9, B00Z009. You can find him on Twitch. Uh, and a shout out to our mods, OniRam93, ONI RAM93, as well as Artrix underscore. That is ARTYX_. They are modulate the channel while we do our show, and they're pretty awesome. So go give them a
Absolutely.
follow on Twitch.
Yep.
And shout out to Delron Hubbard.
Yeah, that's me,
You
baby.
don't even. Okay, anyway.
I'm just gonna say this. You can go ahead and follow Bozo9, but he doesn't actually really exist. So,
But follow him, just in
but
case
follow, give him
one
a
day down
follow.
the line.
He's not a real person.
We're gonna be back next week with our final Halloween episode, where we will be discussing the history of Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about stuff like why bobbing for apples is a thing, why ghosts, ghouls, and goblins are a thing on Halloween.
I thought bobbing for apples was just like training for sucking dick.
Not quite, but
Okay.
we'll also be
Wait, we're gonna be talking
discussing-
about bobbing for apples next week.
Yeah.
Well, the history of it.
We'll also be talking about how bonfires got the name bonfires.
Ooh.
Well, I thought that was just because of Dark Souls.
Anyway, I'll go
'Cause
ahead.
bonfires didn't exist before Dark Souls, right? I mean,
Absolutely, you're totally right. That's history.
It
That is a history
actually-
lesson.
It actually has more to do with Maverick gas stations and their bonfire food line.
Oh man. Oh wow. Are we signing off?
Once I find the music.
Okay.
Go ahead and keep everyone busy for a second.
I have never woken up and had my penis missing, but I have woken up and had another man's penis in the place of my penis.
You know, I have woken up before and looked down and been like, hey, that's my penis.
I've woken up before and said, "Hey, that ain't my penis. Where did my penis go? Who switched penises?"
And then you need
and
to
then you
write-
realized it was your own penis.
Well, no, I mean, I woke up and I had foreskin one day, and then
He's like,
I was
how
like
did
the
it get
same.
smaller?
I mean,
I need to write George
you know.
R.R. Martin.
I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy if I woke up and it was like, big and good looking. But no, I woke up and it was this ugly fucking thing, and I was angry.
It was a bulbous purple head.
Yes, and I went to my local magistrate witch hunter, and he said he'd get my penis back and return the penis I had to another man who had missing his penis missing.
Alright, guys, I'm Kenny Crook Irish Kirby. Keep it weird out there.
Yeah, I'm Maxwell Murder, and I just made it real weird for everyone.
And I'm Special Ed Alex.
It makes me laugh every time. Every time. Short bus Alex.
You know, I feel like this entire episode made it weird for everyone.
Just a little bit, but yeah.
But
Wait,
that
made it
was- Oh,
weird for who?
No, that was a
Everyone.
fun episode. Good job, Alex.
No, it was great. I loved it. I'm gonna start writing like fantasy erotica involving witches and
Tinkerbell?
penises.
You've been saying that since we started this goddamn podcast.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
It
pretty
is
sure
really.
George R.R. Martin already does that.
It is my no. It's my fucking that is my dream job is writing like D&D erotica. Like I want to do that and make a lot of money off of it.
And then I'm gonna call it Game of Chairs.
I was
Game
gonna
of
call
chairs,
it Game of Dicks.
no, game of dicks or game of
Yeah.
boners or
Yeah.
game of
Game of
Jizz?
Bones.
Yeah. Game of vaginas.
Game of Boners.
game of vaginas,
Yeah.
game of menstrual periods, bloods.
No.